interviewing top talent in movies, television, sports, and music, leaders, entrepreneurs, and experts. Broadcast in over 30 countries, out of New York, Manchester, Los Angeles. As a mentor, life and career coach, I help others, athletes, actors, and people of all walks of life, solve the problems they face by introducing balance and routines that would otherwise leave them stuck and overthinking, paralyzed, unable to reach their goals. They look for engaging, rewarding lives, and I think they deserve that. Today, I invite you to join me on my radio show to learn from my guests and I how you can be more resilient and strong. I empower people who struggle with confusion or feel stuck in soulless, non-fulfilling situations. I help them find calm and claim their authentic self in their career path or personal life so they can live to their fullest potential. As a motivational speaker for businesses, schools, resorts, and communities, I speak on topics of achieving success and living a mentally healthy lifestyle, featuring topics from my Power My Life program within my revolutionary Impact, Influence, and Income Academy. I inspire the world as a radio journalist, author, life coach, career coach, resilience expert, mental health advocate, and most recently as a society writer for Transatlantic Today magazine. So happy that you joined me. Let's get rolling. You don't just have to go through it, you can grow through it. Good morning, and thank you for joining Resilient You. On our show, we have guests from different walks of life. We have experts, entrepreneurs. Today, I am so happy to have two women who are just amazing in what they're doing. They have a lot to offer. We are going to talk about themes of motherhood, success, business, health, healing, many other things. So I'm excited to welcome Kellinah and Sabrina Thomas of Real Queens Talk. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Alicia. We're so happy to be here.
Yes, we really are. Thank you.
You want to tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves, your business, and what your goal is?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Sabrina, aka Bree. You can call me Bree for short. Kellinah and I are sisters. We're very close in age, and we are entrepreneurs. We started our podcast called Real Queens Talk Podcast about a little over a year ago. And we've found huge success with our podcast. Our podcast is women centered. It's everything girl power, women empowerment. And we talk about all different things. And we do the same thing that you're doing. We interview other entrepreneurs, specifically mostly females, because we want to share, we want to highlight other successful women in business. We like to hear their stories, hear their journeys, their struggles, and provide a platform for inspiration to other women all around the world. So that's how we got started, and then we've been on this entrepreneurship journey ever since then, but all started with the podcast.
Right. And like you said, through our podcast, by the way, I'm Kels, aka Kellinah, aka Kels. And also with our podcast, we've been able to branch out into other areas, such as event planning for businesses, all sizes, small and large, as well as we're also doing social media management for some other companies and small businesses. So we're able to branch out, not just on the podcast. So that's been really a great experience for us. So we've been navigating the entrepreneurship journey along with navigating the whole podcasting and still also being working moms and mothers. So pretty much our podcast, we really try to highlight and embrace the journeys that we're all going through individually and try to really just hopefully that sharing our truths to help other people with on their journeys.
Yeah. And I the first thing when I came across you guys, I guess on Instagram, was that I saw that you aim to spread positivity and women
Yeah.
empowerment across the globe. And so
Yeah.
that is something we share.
Yeah.
Right.
And being women is just one of the things that make us who we are. I think when we
Yeah.
first spoke, we learned a little bit about each other, coming from humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
We're from
just,
the same town, actually, too. We found out we're all from the same town.
yes, right, right.
Right.
And that's one of the things that it's amazing what a small world we live in, right?
Right, right.
But I want to hear about a few things, right? So let's
Sure.
get into it. Um, One of the things that you guys do is you interview women, you mentioned on your podcast,
Yes.
and I saw that you had a recent guest, and you called it your Power Women series.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Chasing Your Dreams with Shantae Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
is that series something that you have going on now?
So
So
the power,
it's not,
sorry.
sorry. So
Oh,
the
oh,
Power series was something that we did pretty much for the month of March or last season. And it was just highlighting women, mostly women, of course, like who are really doing it big in their respective fields. Shantae Evans actually is our cousin. She is an actor, she's a producer, she's a writer, she's a model, like the list goes on.
yeah.
So she just finished shooting a movie in Thailand that had, I honestly don't remember the actor's name in it, but it was some pretty big stars in that movie that she did. And that was her first big movie. And it's supposed to come out in the summer. We don't have an official release date yet.
Mm,
Yeah.
how
And she
exciting,
executive
exciting.
produced that movie. And, we
Yeah.
really, for the Power Women series,
Hmm.
we really just wanted to find women who were inspirational to us. So, we were
Yeah.
like, she's our big cousin. We really wanted,
Hmm.
we looked up to her our whole lives. And,
Hmm.
to see her become this entrepreneur and to actually, excel at her craft and what she went to school for. She went to one of the top acting schools in New York. And so to see all these things
Mm,
come full circle for her, it's inspiring for us. And so we want to
Hmm.
share that with others as well so that they can, find that same inspiration and motivation. And also, she really highlighted that it's not all like just cupcakes and roses, right? Like she
Right.
went through some tumultuous times in her life as well. And that's part of the journey, and that's why we want people who are honest and who are transparent and who want to share the tough things that they went through in life as well. And we
Yep.
think that that just helps you, that builds your resilience, right? That builds your character, and it helps you ultimately become who you are destined to be.
Absolutely.
yes, that is so
Absolutely.
true. That is so true. And I love that. So listeners, check out their podcast. You can find them on Real Queens Talk. On
Yep.
Instagram, I'll give the information up front. Real
Hmm.
Queens Talk _official
Yes.
Hmm.
on Instagram. They also have a website for different things. They have
Yeah.
clothing. I saw
Yep.
you have for Black History Month, you have a new line that you're just
Yes.
launching.
Yes.
Yep. We
Tell our
just
listeners
launched.
about that too.
Oh, yeah. So
We'll hit
we just
everything.
launched.
Don't worry. But
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited. We're excited. So we actually have two websites. I'll go. So the first one is our www.realqueenstalk.com. On that website, you can find information about our podcast, but most importantly, we have our King and Queen Gear merch line. It's all of our exclusive designs that Sabrina and I spent our time, creativity working on. We released our Black History Month collection, which we're super excited about. There's all kinds of stuff on there from fleece throw blankets to coffee mugs. This isn't one of them. If you can see it here, my Limitless Queen. This is one of our coffee mugs, one of my favorite ones. It's not part of our Black History Month, but it is one of my favorite mugs. So we have everything from coffee mugs to tumblers and all kinds of stuff: shirts, hoodies, crop tops, a
Yes.
little bit of everything. And our other website is www.rqbidsolutions.com. And on that website, it's more of our business consulting page. On there, you can book free consultations with us regarding your small business needs, such as training, team building, what else? Social media marketing, a little bit of everything. So we do have 2 websites, and we hope you guys visit both.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we were really excited about the Black History Month collection, which obviously it is Black History Month. It's something that we've been wanting to do for a long time. As women of color, we just really want to celebrate our culture, and we really want to celebrate those who have paved the way for us. And so it's really important for us to, just take the time to acknowledge not only Black History Month, but just Black history in general. It's something that we try to carry with us and use that also as our source of inspiration. Seeing so many great African-American leaders throughout history and even present day. It's something that we didn't really see as much of when we were growing up, and our parents didn't see that growing up. So like now it's very important for us to represent our culture. And, so our podcast is for all women. We love all women. We support all women, but we definitely, we just love other Black women as well. And we want to support each other, because that's something that's kind of lacking in our culture.
Yeah,
So we
for
want to
sure.
be the example.
Right.
Yeah, well, you guys, you have so much to offer. So let's put that out there, right? So if you,
Right.
looking to start your business, if you are a
Yeah.
woman of color, if you have, a dream, if you thought maybe you're not able to do something, but you want to do it and you don't know how, reach out to them. I'm telling you
Yeah.
what, they are the whole package, right? So
Right. We try.
That's
yeah,
something that we definitely specialize in, is helping women, get started with their business, because it's like so many times it's like information overload
Yeah.
nowadays. So if you're doing your research and everything, and you might think that you're doing something right, but then you get confused because then something else comes up and this person's like, no, do this, no, do that. It gets confusing. So we can, you can do a consultation with us, and we can hold your hand step by step of forming your business, whether you want it to be a LLC or a C Corp or whatever else that you need. So we'll hold your hand step by step and get you to where you want to be in your business.
Exactly. And if you have an established business already, a lot of times, Sabrina and I both have management, office management in the medical field background. I've been an office manager in various medical settings for almost 10 years, and same thing for Sabrina. So we've combined our almost 20 years experience together into a business that's helping other businesses succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out, if on Instagram you guys listed in your bio, you have motivation for badass women who do it all. You list motherhood, family, self-love, self-care, careers, business, and and it's true. Like I went out, I did my research, I looked at some of
All
your
right.
podcast
Yes,
shows.
thank you.
That's why there's so many things I want to talk about, and
Yes.
but again, I know our listeners, we have listeners all over the country, all over the world. Um, and again, we're living in such a big world, but again, it's kind of like a lot of us are going through the same thing. Everyone has access to the same information. And,
Right.
it's just amazing how we can all come together.
Mhm.
So Black History Month. So I just want to say that, there are themes that, years ago, you mentioned your parents didn't have access to see some of the great things that were maybe going on in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
Black people weren't even allowed to do things that,
Yeah,
it's just an atrocity. I,
for sure. Right. Right.
but,
Right. I know.
but
It's true. Unfortunately,
today,
it's the reality. Yeah, it's the reality.
yeah. And I just want to say that I just love the time we're in. Today, we are so lucky
Yeah.
to live in this world today. There's so
Hmm.
much more of a focus on equality,
Hmm.
awareness, and just inclusion,
Yeah.
diversity. Like, so again, I feel like if we all do our part to have the conversations, to
Mhm.
bring forward what needs to be brought and make this a world where where it's equal, right? That's what I would love to see. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yes,
there's
and I think that, I know that we have made so much progress, like as
Mhm.
people, as a society, right? We like most people are more forward thinking now, progressive thinking and accepting and, want to actually lend the helping hand. That there's so many other cultures of women that we see all the time, we talk to, and they're like, even like, we love what you guys are doing, we want to support
Mhm.
you, and we support Black women, and it's such a beautiful thing. And it's the same for us. Like I said, we support all women. That is our goal, is to see all women win, right?
Mm.
So it's an amazing thing. And I just love, like you said, the time that we're living in, because we've come a long way. And I
For
think
sure.
society is going in the right direction.
Right.
That
And one
Yeah,
thing I
yeah.
will say too, on our last, we actually did a Black History Month episode, both seasons. One just released last Wednesday, and we did one last year as well. We did two very different episodes, but they're both very informative. And on our last one, we challenged our listeners to go the extra mile and learn more about history, learn more about Black history. Black history doesn't just end and stop with 1 month. It doesn't just end and stop with Black African American culture in this country. Black history is around the world. Black people, Africans were spread throughout the world. So there's people who have made differences throughout the world, throughout the country, that we didn't know about. We didn't learn about so much of this in school. So that's really something we've been encouraging other people to really do some research and learn new things. When you know your history, it's harder for it to repeat itself. And it
Mm.
also makes you a little less ignorant to other people's cultures, and it makes you more sensitive to other cultures when you know more about them and their culture. So we all live together. We're all in the same world. So let's make sure that we are doing our part to really keep up the message of unity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one of the things that well, I listened to part of the recent one.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
and one of the quotes I loved that you said, Kels, was about putting the work in.
Yeah.
So, not only thinking, oh, I want to do something, but I don't know how, or I should be handed, but to do that work. And
Right.
that's something that I think a lot of kids in inner cities, especially, they don't have support. They don't have structure.
Right.
They don't have
Yes.
the resources or the money. So if
Right.
you were talking to, a young girl, let's say, growing up with nothing and no support, let's say,
Right.
what would you say to her?
So as an inner city, okay, so speaking from experience myself, growing up as an inner city kid from New Brunswick, New Jersey, and for any of you who know that area in the 90s compared to New Brunswick now, completely two different towns. And through that experience, I've learned so much and noticed so much of a difference. What I would say is, from my experience, is let this let this little girl, or if I was talking to myself as a young girl, I would let myself know that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to not have everything that other people have. It's okay, because it's not going to be forever. If you really do the work, if you spend your time, less time in the streets, as they say, and more time in the book, you will start to see it. So
Yep. So
really
be
pay off.
yourself, accept who you are, embrace your struggle. Use that struggle whatever struggle, let go of the pain, but embrace the struggle. If there's any pain you feel, get the help you need if you need it. But keep some of that struggle, some of that grit is going to help you later on in life. No matter what you do, is going to help build your resilience. Is going to give you an extra edge over some people who may not have had those experiences as you. Certain things that may seem life shattering now might be the strength, that backbone strength that other people don't have, that gives you one step up. So that's what I would really say to that young girl. Just, little Kels, just stay strong, be your outspoken, strong self, and don't take no for an answer, and just continue pushing on. Keep that strength. Keep your strength, but let go of the hurt.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, I know because I'm one of those little girls who was quiet, I was shy. Imagine me in New Brunswick growing up.
Right.
I was like one of two white people in my whole school, I think.
Right.
The
Yeah.
I
It
had
was
some
like a
good friends
culture
though.
shock.
I had some good friends, and I think that's why I'm so well-rounded today, because I was
Right.
not sheltered or shielded, and
Yeah.
I didn't have people telling me, so I didn't have those beliefs that other people might have about what makes people different. So I just want to say I was that little girl who was afraid, and I didn't know I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. So it took me a whole lifetime to come out and become a leader. Even, so one of the things that I found throughout life is when I got through depression, I got through different things by being open and really being willing to, like you said, let the past go a little bit.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that I did that, and I'll share that with everybody right now, journaling, like write it down. This way, you don't have to pay a counselor. You don't have the money. You don't have to share it with somebody who might come back and backstab you with that later.
Right.
Just write it down. Think about why you feel that way. Write that down, right? Write down that pain you're feeling, and then write down how it's holding you back, right? So if you feel like, you were mistreated, bullied, or whatever, for example, write down that fear that you don't want, you don't want to lose control, or you don't want to be mistreated. Maybe you feel like you have to. Maybe you saw that in your household. Maybe there was
Right.
some toxic behaviors that you grew up with, or, but the world we're living in right now is such a thing that you can release that fear. You can take that toward that future that you desire. Like Kels has said, you can let go of that, be strong, be resilient, and move forward. So if you're listening and you have a fear or something holding you back, try writing about it. You might just write pages. I've had some women who have started, and when they start, they write notebooks full, and
Oh yeah.
and then they can talk about it. Then they can take that next step. So,
Right.
it's so important as people and as women, we're so complex. As women, we have emotions, we have hormones, we have so many things that come into it, right? And then the roles we play, right? We are so many things. Oprah, she is one of my heroes. And I think I heard you guys mention Oprah. And so
Yeah.
again, like
Her
there's so
book
many,
club. Yes. Yep.
yeah, so many things that speaking of books, what you have a children's book, Kels? Tell us about what you're working on.
Sabrina
Oh,
does. Bree does.
Oh, Bree. Okay.
Yes. 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 She's
Tell us.
So, yes, so I do have a children's book that is currently in editing. It's in its final round of editing. So I'm very proud. I co-authored this book with my 13-year-old daughter. She was 12 at the time. Yes. And it's actually a
so
book.
cute.
Yeah, it's a book series that's based on my daughter, and I took some of our experiences together, and I took some things from her growing up, and us traveling together, her trying different sports and activities, and I turned these into stories that other little girls can relate to. And because it is just in me innately to be like girl power, like this is just a girl power book, like it is all like like about the resilience of a little girl and her finding her interest, her being strong, and her standing up to bullying bullying and her standing up, her finding entrepreneurship, her learning these skills, her discovering her passion. So each book has a different theme that is going to teach these little girls a life skill. It's funny. It's the first book is called Trading My Ballet Slippers for Boxing Gloves, because that is exactly what my daughter did.
Yeah.
And she's been dancing, she's been in ballet and tap and jazz and lyrical. She's done every style of dance since she was 2 years old. And then when COVID hit, all the dance studios closed down. And it was like they wanted to do virtual classes, and she was not interested in that at all. So there was a boxing gym by our house, and they were open. And all the kids had on masks and everything, but they were teaching kids classes. So I took her there. I was like, this would be a good way for her to get out of the house and still release some energy and stuff. But it ended up turning out to be like she was a natural. She was just a natural born like amazing boxer, and the coaches were like blown away by her ability. And I mean, they were like giving her one-on-one sessions and giving her like like very advanced combos and stuff to do. Like they couldn't even teach her the same thing that they were teaching the other kids. And not to be not to be biased or anything, but it was other boys. It was boys that it was all boys in the class. And she was like running circles around them.
Don't mess with her. Do not mess with Jay.
She was running circles around the little boys, and the coaches were like blown away. So I held that, at one point, I don't know when it clicked, but I was like, I've always wanted to write a book. I've always been creative at writing. I was runner-up for like an essay that I wrote in college. It was actually the grand prize was to be published in a magazine. And my college professor, I didn't write it as a competition. I just wrote it. My college professor said, you have to enter this. I am entering this for you. He was like, this is just amazing. So I got runner-up. So I didn't get published in a magazine. But after that, I was like, oh my God, I want to be a published writer. I want to be a published writer. So finally, I said, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to follow my dreams. And that story was in my head for 2 years about my daughter. And when I finally sat down to write it, I was done in 2.5 hours, start to finish.
Wow.
Because it just poured out of me like word vomit. Like that sounds kind of gross, but
Right.
it poured out of me, like it flowed out of me like a river. It was just in me.
Right.
And so, yeah, so that book is going to be coming out. I really hope that, my goal is to have it out this year, maybe like towards the end of the year. And that'll be the first book in the series of many more to come. And I just want little girls to be inspired and know that they can do anything. You can do anything that you put your mind to. No, there's no dream that is too big. And so, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, that is amazing. We'll look forward to that. And I had a fighter, an MMA fighter on my show, and she told her story of resilience, and she's still winning awards. She's one of the top in the world. So you should have you and your daughter sit down and listen to this show as well.
Right, right.
Jasmine Yazoo DeVicious is her name, but but it's true. Like this is something that, and I teach it in my Girl Scout troop, right? I have,
What is a Girl Scout?
it seems like any opportunity that we have to influence others and inspire others, we take. So, again, keep up with it. It's good to hear. Now, the topic of our show today is growing into your greatness. So this dovetails in nicely, right? There's a journey, there's a path, and you can't let your fear or the norms of society, anything hold you back. So what comes to mind when you think of that, growing into your greatness? I know we've talked about the people starting their business. We've talked about leaderships. We've talked about motherhood a little bit. How can women do this? How can we grow into our greatness, given all the pressure, all the things that might be holding us back?
Right. For me, I would say it starts with you. You have to do the inner work first,
Yeah.
right? Before you can start to see things manifest in the physical world, you have to do the inner work first. So, like you said, letting go of pain, and a big part of it for me along my journey was learning forgiveness. Learning forgiveness is a big thing. Being unforgiving is a big thing that can hold you back in life. It's like a block, a roadblock. If you are a person holding on to grudges, or, sometimes we don't even realize that we're holding on to things. But when you start to do the inner work, you start to do that self-reflection, journaling, like you mentioned, being a part of that, meditating, whether it's going to therapy, that's something that a lot of cultures find like taboo. But I
Yeah.
am a huge advocate. I am a mental health nurse. I work with a psychiatrist. Like, I am a huge advocate for taking care of your mental health. And, it's okay if you need to seek guidance, you need to seek assistance with dealing with some of your trauma and, pain. It's huge in being able to grow into your greatness. Also, another thing for me is physical health. All of these things are connected because you have mind, body, spirit, right? So you have to take care of all three. You can't just take care of one and then the other two suffer, because you're your whole being. And in order for you to have that wholeness, you have to be in cohesion with all those three parts of you have to be cohesive. So taking care of your health is a huge part of it as well. I actually have a little story, like how I was going through a lot of health issues, and I'm fairly young. I'm still in my early 30s. And but I was having like health issues that were terrifying a few years back, and this was actually the beginning of my journey to where we are here. This all happened, for me to discover who I am and what my passion is, and to propel me into my future. But I was having some really scary health issues. And what that forced me to do was to start taking a look at what are the things that may be affecting my health outside of, maybe diet or, lack of exercise and stuff. But what else is affecting my health? And the number one thing that I discovered was it was stress. So from that moment on, I discovered that I was going to live as much of a stress-free life as I could. And if that meant that I had to give up my nursing career, that's what I was going to do. And that's what I did. So, that I went vegan for a year. I incorporated fish back into my diet, but I went vegan for a year. I started doing the inner work, the meditation. I started going to therapy. I got a therapist. I was dealing with my anxiety and overcoming that and things like that. And once I just started to work on each aspect of me, mind, body, spirit, I became, I really started researching my spirituality and just getting to know that higher power. Once I did all of that, everything else kind of fell into place, and I would say it's not even me. It wasn't even me who put us in this predicament. It wasn't Kels or I who put us where we are now today. It was a higher power, and it was just coming in tune with those things. Um, so that is what comes to mind to me, is just, you have to focus on healing your mind, body, and spirit. It's crucial before you can even step into that greatness. But once you get there, it's a beautiful journey. And, we just have to embrace our journey, and be thankful for everything that we do go through, because it only makes us stronger, and it's further propelling you to where you're meant to be.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. So it's true. It's not easy though, right? Like people think, here you're in a situation, maybe you have other people who are uh in a relationship with you, expecting things of you. Maybe it's hard for you to make a change. You have responsibilities. And so that to me is just amazing to hear that you actually had that courage and you were able to make those changes. Like, to me, to give up my pizza on Fridays, to give up
Right.
I don't know what eating habits. I mean, for
Right.
me, eating is a comfort. So,
Yeah, same.
it's hard to make some changes, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
So,
Right.
and our listeners are different ages out there. Um, I know on my show we've talked before about this kind of thing, how if you do the work to heal yourself, you can see and start taking those steps. Sometimes we call them micro steps. You can do one thing at a time. Start slow if you need to.
Yeah.
But you can learn from the stories you're hearing today.
Mhm.
You can see that you can make steps to get to your greatness. And it's different for everybody. Maybe you want to start a business, maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to feel better, right? Maybe
Right.
for myself, I know it's age. I know a lot of women I talk to, they get burned out. And
Yeah,
it's, if you
I
want
was
to leave,
there.
for
yeah,
sure.
if you want to
And when
leave
it
your,
comes,
go ahead.
sorry, and like for me, like as I'm a new mom, at the time, as I was becoming a new mom, I had this like huge role in a corporate company. And like as of now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but my cup says limitless. You know, that means to me, what that means, there's so many things that as a woman, we have limitless expectations of us. There's so many expectations. There's so many responsibilities that's on our shoulders as a new mom, as a wife, as an executive, as everything. And you wear all these hats all the time. And you just pour and pour and pour and pour and pour into everyone else until you get completely depleted, and like you were just saying just now, Alicia, you get burnt out.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing myself getting more and more burnt out. And now home suffering, work is suffering, baby's all his schedule's all out of whack. Now mom out of whack. And then it's okay to take anxiety medicine. Medication's out of whack. It's not working anymore. It's like once you notice certain things become off, it's like a scale, your cup is overflowing. It's getting too much. And sometimes what I had to do for myself was learn when I'm starting to get burned out, because I would just go and go and go, do so much just try to do so much. I do it all. I'm up all hours of the night and have to be up early in the morning for work. And, it becomes a lot. And it's very easy for women and mothers to get overwhelmed, to get burnt out, to get overstimulated.
Right.
So I've had to really learn triggers, learn how to notice, okay, your sleep is getting off again. You need to slow down a little bit. This is starting, you're starting to have stomach issues or whatever the case may be. You're getting headaches again. You need to slow down again. So really another part of that for me is really listening to yourself, being in tune with your body. Like Sabrina was saying, it's all connected, mind, body, soul. If your mind is not right, how can you be right and give the way you need to? You have to work on filling your own cup. I had stopped going to yoga. I stopped doing all the stuff I used to do. I was just in full blown mommy work mode. And there was like nothing really outside of in between there. So I'm noticing now I'm getting back into doing yoga. I'll leave the baby with my mom or with my husband, and I need an hour. Just give me an hour to myself and I'll come back rejuvenated. It's okay to take that time. It's okay to be a little selfish sometimes. Self-care is, the word is self. There's a little bit of selfishness. There has to be some sort of selfishness in your self-care routine. You have to have a self-care routine, no matter how big, how small. You don't have to go to the spa every day. Some little small things. Like for me right now, having a coffee in the morning and be able to sit and enjoy it by the window before my son wakes up, that's wonderful for me. Listen to some music and just relax. That way I know when my 2-year-old busy son gets up, I'm ready to go. So, just little things like that really make a huge impact on you. You start to learn yourself too that way. When you notice, you have to be really in tune with yourself to notice those kind of things. So if you're not meditating, if your mind isn't clear, if you're not doing things to really to take care of yourself, the more you take care of yourself, the more you learn about yourself. The more you know yourself, the more you're able to recognize when things are off with yourself. Because who else knows you better than you?
Right.
Yeah. And when you're doing this, right, if you have people in your life that maybe don't understand, men, I'm saying men, because
Right. Yeah.
they will be like, well, how come you didn't cook dinner? How come you didn't do the dishes? How different thing, right?
Right.
Again, I'm
And you
not
want to
saying
explode
all,
when they say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
but it's like,
Right.
well, especially when you're trying to run a business, that's another
Mhm.
full-time job after
Yeah.
your regular
Right.
full-time job.
Oh, yes.
So again, you can be limitless,
Hmm.
and it's not easy because you have to manage those relationships.
Yes.
So in that time you take daily, or if you need that extra sleep, or you need to walk farther, park farther away from your job so you can have that decompression, that downtime before
Mhm.
you come back to work, so that, or back to
Oh, yeah.
home for your second
Right.
job.
Yeah. Right.
There's tips and things that you can do to kind of
Mhm.
offset it. There's, if you can have open communication with the people in your life, your partner,
Yeah.
your spouse, your
Yeah.
kids, even, to let them know, hey, I have to fill my cup first before I can fill yours.
Exactly.
What can you do? And help them to rise up, because there's nothing that says that they can't help you. When I think
Mhm.
in a home, it should be a team, right?
Yes.
It shouldn't
Sure.
be just one person always doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I had a client lately that was a new mom. She was just like, she didn't get sleep, didn't have energy, lost
Mhm.
motivation,
That's
and
yeah.
I stressed to her, power in the pause.
Hmm.
Take that 5 minutes in the bathroom, let the baby cry. It's not going to kill the
Yeah.
baby.
Yep.
Right.
And pause. Give yourself that pause that you need to be rejuvenated, to be refilled up, and to not act out of react, right? That's one of the
Absolutely.
things we do, is react a lot of times, and it can cost us jobs and relationships and lose trust. So that's another thing that's, I think, important too. I love everything you guys have said about, starting out with yourself first,
Mhm.
healing that pain, that trauma, getting on a better path so that you can um, notice the triggers and realize what it is that's going to help you to succeed and keep that balance. Um,
Yeah.
One
so,
thing Oh, I'm sorry,
mm,
Lisa. But one thing also that really, helped me with switching the mindset, right? Because
Yes.
like you were saying, like, it's really hard to change, right? So it's gonna take baby steps, and it's gonna take time to fully switch your mindset, especially if you've been living the way you've been living for your whole life, right? And you've been
mm,
comfortable with your habits, your bad habits, and your negative self-talk and your thinking, and you've been comfortable with that. So it takes time to change those things. But really what helped me a lot is practicing affirmations, doing listening to affirmations. You can go on YouTube, you can look up positive affirmations. There's tons of them. If you're suffering from anxiety, you can do affirmations for anxiety. If you're suffering, from low self-esteem or self-confidence, you can look affirmations for building up self-confidence, and saying those to yourself in the mirror every day, or journaling them, writing them down. That starts to slowly shift your mindset, right? So then you can add on to that, take it a step further. Now, okay, I discovered this about myself. I'm starting to feel happier with myself. Let me start going to the gym. Let me start working out. Let me just go run on the treadmill for 30 minutes, because guess what? That's also going to boost up your self-esteem, your confidence, and as well as, it gives you endorphins, so you're going to start to feel happy. But little things like that I started to incorporate, started to just help change the whole, like shift my whole paradigm, as a whole.
mm,
So, yeah, I just wanted to share that, like really doing those affirmations, and, starting to believe, you start to believe it. It takes about, I did like a 21-day challenge of
Mhm.
gratitude, just
mm,
practicing, being grateful for every single little thing, the trees, the sun, people think that, you were saying before, people think it has to be this huge change all at once. But guess what? Anything that comes fast like that, it's not going to be sustaining, right? It's not going to, if you have change that's like instant, it's not going to be long lasting. It takes
mhm,
time. And in
Mhm.
order for you to shift the mindset.
mhm.
So, yeah, just one little step every day gets you closer to being, fulfilled and happy.
And one last thing, there's also apps. I have an app on my phone that sends me affirmations throughout the day. So sometimes and sometimes they're like, I'm like, this is kind of random, but then other times it really resonates with you and it, you read it, you're reading it and it's constant reminders. I don't close the notifications, the ones that I like. I kind of leave them so I can go back to it, My phone looks a little crazy if you look at my notifications, but I leave some of them, the ones that like really resonate with me, especially throughout that day. I might be having a rough day and you go back and look at it and it's something that says like, no challenge is too big or something like that. There's something small that helps boost that energy, helps boost your motivation, helps boost your confidence, just put you in a different mindset. So a lot of them are free. Go on Google Play or whatever you have and download a free app. I don't remember the name of the one I use now, but you can download free apps for it. You can pay for it, whatever you want to do, but those really have very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, to that point, there's power in the place. So, I last year started my Power Your Life program, and it's focused around the 8 areas of wellness. And so in terms of a meditation or an affirmation, if you're trying to fully embrace something, maybe do it in the place that suits you. If you prefer outdoors, the nature, maybe just take a walk. If you can get a break, you're in the house, you can open the window. As you said, sitting by the window having your coffee, it might make all the difference. So it can be in your internal environment as well. If you can incorporate some color, that also can lift your mood. There's so many small things. If you're intentional about it, it can really help you. So again, you can power your life. You can use apps. You can Google it, whatever you want to do. I have this book, Emotional Strength Explained. It's great for people who are starting on wanting a change. It's a journal. There's prompts in here. You just do one page a day. So 30 days and you really do have what you need to get that confidence to move forward. If you're processing something and you need some help, there's things like that you can do. But again, if you need to reach out to someone and you're ready to take that next step, reach out to Kels and Bree. They have solutions for you. If you want to be empowered, you can go online, you can buy their merchandise. I bought an entrepreneur shirt myself, so I'll be revisiting your site again.
And we also have a we just we're about to launch, it's called the Badass Entrepreneur Planner. Okay.
Yes,
and that we created that ourselves. It's a planner that is for new or seasoned entrepreneurs, but it gives you everything that you need to really focus on your business, to get organized, to journal, write down important things that you need. It has calendars, it has just a bunch of stuff.
Motivational quotes in there.
Every few pages it has like a motivational quotes in it from a really strong, powerful woman, just to help you believe in yourself. Like, you got this, sis. Like, keep going. You can do this. We believe in you. Things like that. And so that's gonna be being released on Amazon at the end of the end of this month. It should be live on Amazon. So we're really excited for that because we just want to help women in any way that we can. And if that means, creating a planner, creating a journal, something for you to take with you along your journey, then we're happy to put that out for you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, tag me and tag the radio station, Power 98.5. It's been great having you on. And again, I'll look forward to everything you guys have up and coming. When you have your book come out, your planner come out, definitely let us know. Looking forward to that release, all this positivity into the world, making a difference. And again, looking forward to everything that you have in upcoming shows. You name it. Before we wrap up, is there any last words of wisdom you want to share with our listeners?
Definitely. One thing that I just want to remind people is don't let your circumstances define you. You know, going back all the way to the beginning of the conversation, and we're discussing how we're from humble beginnings, and what would we tell that little girl who came? Don't let your circumstances define you, because they're temporary. You have the power within you to transform your life. No one else can do it for you. You have to find your own power. You can take that pain, you can take those struggles, you can take those, whatever trauma, and you can turn that into fuel, turn that into power to propel yourself into a better space in life, wherever it is you want to be. And just remember to dream big. There's no dream that is too big. So those are my last words.
And for me, I would say, just like I said before, just stay true to yourself. You're going to go through, life is going to kick your ass in some way, somehow, and just stay true to yourself. Keep going, stay resilient, stay as strong as possible, but not too strong. Sometimes being too overly strong, you start to lose more of yourself and your intuitiveness with yourself, or you try to stay too strong, because then you start to build walls. Keep the walls halfway up, not all the way up, but halfway up. You need some protection to yourself and your space and your energy, but still leave enough open to where you still have the door open for possibilities, for abundance, to live life. Live your truth, stay true to yourself, and you'll be great. You'll do great things.
Yes, definitely.
Love that. Love both of those sentiments. So don't let your circumstances define you. You can transform. Stay true to yourself. Be strong, but not too strong. Keep your walls halfway up. I love that.
Yep.
And again, there's no dream that is too great. So keep dreaming, ladies. And if you're a man out there, just keep your mind open and learn how to listen, because that is really going to help us, and it's going to help you in the long run. So
oh yeah, support our women, support the women.
Yeah, we will support you, and you support us. We'll make the world a better place. Thank you so much, Kels and Bree, for being here on the show, Power 98.5 FM. We look forward to seeing you again.
We appreciate you
so much, Alicia. This was awesome.
Thank you.
All right.